Troika, numinous edition, is a thing. Okay, look, when I first read this tabletop RPG, the only thought that came into my mind is this how being on drugs feels like? Is this what 40,000 liters of LSD injected to my vein feels like? I mean, this is what the game introduces itself to you, a science fantasy RPG in which players travel by eldritch portal and non-Euclidean labyrinth and golden sailed barge between the uncountable crystal spheres strung delicately across the humpback sky. What the hell does that mean? I don't know, but it gives off the same vibe Hylix did, and that game explains itself just as well. So, let me just introduce Troika to you again. Do you want to be clinically insane, beat up dimensional spawning goblins, and get in an elevator with 3 tigers? Welcome to Troika, Numinous Edition, made by Melsonian Arts Council, a science fantasy tabletop RPG with a setting that works better the less I explain it. The gameplay loop of Troika is very simple: make a character, go have adventure, and maybe murder someone that's just happened to be in the way. Anyway, background: for a science fantasy RPG, you are probably thinking of something like the knight, the mage, the asshole, but those are boring ass backgrounds. Get something with more originality like Befouler of Ponds, a pond-pissing high priest that can swim well and sneak well in their shitty robe in the swarm besides everywhere because they stink. Member of Miss Kinsey's dining club who can eat anything, because they serve everything at Miss Kinsey's, and could in fact straight up identify everything in a meal like a living detector. And, Chaos Champion, a former Chaos patron with a giant wait a second, this is too normal. How about a fellow of the Sublime Society of Beefsteaks, a brawler that believes muscle and a well-done steak is the universal answer to all questions ever asked. Also, you need to roll for these things and add these into your possessions. Skill is how skillful your character is in anything really. You use it to pass roll by either rolling 2d6 under or equal to it with relevant advanced skill or spell, or when rolling versus in say, hitting someone, you instead roll higher than your opponent plus your skill and whatever modifier. Stamina is like health and mana combined, both damage and using spell decreases it, and you obviously die if it reaches 0, but that just means you get opportunity to quickly make a new character. And luck is just, well, luck. Sometimes the GM might ask you to test your luck. Try not to roll above it, and your luck gets slowly diminished as your fate tested you. Don't worry, you will get it back after like 8 hours, fate is generous like that. Every starting character also gets some silver pence, a knife, a lantern and flask of oil, rucksack to carry stuff of course, and 6 provisions which can be eaten to heal up 1d6 stamina, or you could get it back by sleeping. Some items have special properties like pocket gods, which are little cloth puppet made in the shape of some gods and can be used to regain 1 luck back, but most aren't that special and just add +1 to roll associated with it, like lockpicks, which would give +1 to lockpicking roll, obviously. You can also improve your character by, as written in the book, getting better. First you need to actually use the advanced skill or spell before ending a journey to even level them up. You can't just get better at speaking a language if the only language you spoke is violence. This gives said skill or spell a tick. Then, you pick 3 of the advanced skill or spell you have ticked, and roll 2d6 over skill plus advanced skill or spell to add +1 to it, then remove all ticks before going for the next adventure. This means that the better you are at something, the harder it is to get better at it. You can also learn new advanced skills and spells, but not only do you have to spend a minimum of 1 week in training, some money to hire a guy to teach you if they are not your party member, and you need to roll under your skill to gain a point for it, meaning, it's a lot harder to learn new tricks in Troika than it is to improve what you have learned already, and even improving that can be a bit difficult. It's why the book has such a carefree attitude to character dying, because they probably didn't get that far in getting better than a starting character anyway. Heck, as soon as you die, you immediately get to roll a new character and add them back right in the same session, while the rest of your party mourn your old character's death for like 5 seconds before fighting for their possessions like wild dogs. And yes, you can just get your old character's shit for your new character immediately, so you gain something anyway. In combat, turn order is determined at a complete random, and through a thing called initiative, but not in the way you think. Initiative in Troika is how many actions a character can take in a round. Initiative 1 means the character can take 1 action per round, Initiative 2 means 2 actions and so on. Each player has 2 initiative tokens of their own, Enemies of the same type can combine their initiative tokens into a big pile. These are then mixed together and the GM randomly picks one to determine whose turn it is. This brings a lot of uncertainty as to how much time you have left to take action, and on the enemy side, when GM gets their initiative token, they can even pick the same enemy unit that has taken action before already, so it's not like an enemy is done after finishing off their initiative worth of turn. There's a few actions you can do which are probably things you have expected already, but I would like to bring an attention to hitting people in melee combat. Shooting people is just rolling versus between your shoot skill and their shield or dodge skill, nothing special, but when hitting people with blade and hammer, both of you roll versus with your melee weapon skill and the winner get to deal damage, so it's not like you are the only one that can do damage if you use hit someone action on your turn, and if you are very skilled with a blade while fighting against hordes of unskilled mobs, you might end up wiping them out in quick succession. And finally, spell, of course the book has to bring in some magic, all 7 pages of it, which can let you do things like protection from rain, which do as well as an umbrella, cone of air, which let wizard breathes in space, brittle twigs, which let you snap someone's bone by snapping a twig, assassin's dagger, to send letter far away or stab someone far away, and explode. Also, the most boring but practical spell of all. And there you have it, Troika, a delightful sci-fi tabletop RPG that has simple comprehensible rule with a fantastically rich setting where anything could happen. In fact, since nothing about it makes sense, and the book encourages you to make custom background if you want to, there's plenty of people out there that have made very interesting homebrew backgrounds for Troika, like say, a hermit knight that's actually a hermit crab in a suit of armor that's getting increasingly tighter, a golem piloting Tarsia that's exactly what it said, and finally, Perry the Platypus. So, if you want a quick to learn and fun to play sci-fi tabletop RPG that your new to TTRPG field friends can get into very quickly as long as they don't insist that you should game master a certain fantasy RPG instead and make you remember every single complicated as shit ruling because they didn't even bother to read the book and just murder all your well-crafted NPC and wonder why you are so bad at being game master, I recommend Troika. Otherwise, I recommend Actual Friends. Anyway, you can get soft copy from itch.io, Drive-Thru RPG, and Kindle, as well as hard copy from Mel's Onia main website, and, you know what, I'm just gonna point you straight at Troika RPG main website and you can go from there. So, that's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.